So this man feels that love escapes him because of the issues that he feels he has. He's unable to expect his heart to love, and that's what makes him fearful. Afraid that he will end up alone. Afraid that he
Yeah.
will not be able to tear down the walls that are guarding his heart from receiving love openly. And for those who've experienced trauma, your mind and your heart both become conditioned to mistrust as a protective factor. And social expectations for men to be loving and expressive of that emotion have typically been absent. The power that we all have is to express love to others, not only our significant others and romantic interests, but our neighbors, family, friends, fellow people we encounter. Although it may not be easy for us to do, it is not a sign of weakness or a loss of masculinity, but it is a sign of immense strength and understanding of what our human needs really are. You know, in a way, this reminds me of that the hierarchy of needs that
Yeah. Maslow's
Maslow created in
hierarchy.
the 30s. Other than our physiological and security basic needs, we do require psychological needs that exist through like intimate relationships and our own esteem and
Yeah.
respect from others. This is one of Black Keys songs I like most, a band that I love, and I would give this song a 4 out of 5.
I think I'll probably give this song a 3.75 out of 5. I really
Mm-hmm.
love the instrumentation on this track. And I believe that it's a harpsichord driving the melody.
Mm.
I know, like you said, when they
Sound like
perform live, they use a keyboard using that harpsichord sound. But I'd be
right.
very interested to know what they used in the studio, whether they used an actual
Right.
harpsichord or a keyboard. Because I believe that, and I believe that's the sound of harpsichord, but I'm not 100% sure too. At
Mm.
times, it almost sounds like a mandolin. So I'm not exactly sure what that
Yeah,
instrument is, but
kind
it's
of pipe organ
haunting.
piano.
Yeah, it's haunting. It's somber. It has that Godfather like vibe to it.
Hmm.
The little sense of criminality to it, and I also dig what he's saying. I was just having a conversation with someone that I've been talking to for months, someone that I might be interested in dating. Ever since even before Corona, we were talking, and I haven't met up with them yet for a date. And I kept making excuses for not meeting up. And like, I eventually came to the realization that I am scared of love.
Mm.
Like in my own head, it seems unreasonable and unlikely that somebody would ever love me. And so I put off like even risking the pain of finding out the answer to that question.
Mm.
I never really understood like why I act like that, and why I'm so keen on pushing anybody away from me that wants to love me. But it's an issue I've only recently recognized, and I feel like I need to work on. Do you have any advice for me, Doug? Like being afraid of love?
I mean, I can relate with you, man, because I feel that I am the same way. Uh,
Hmm.
I mean, I'm tough, man. I'm tough. I'm tough to get to, and I think for
Yeah,
men especially, it's even hard to kind of reach to that point where you are completely vulnerable with somebody else and being
yeah,
comfortable with that, and in a way, just being yourself. And that's something that I've had to kind of work through. And if you feel a connection with someone, like you really kind of got to understand why there is that barrier in the first place, that wall that you built. And I think the way to kind of just find the answer is to try to figure out like where that stems from. And
yeah.
then once you reach from where that stems from, like you can start trying to understand and maybe at least expressing that with the person that you are feeling the type of way with, so that y'all can work through that together. Because a lot of times it's difficult just to find out on your own. Where do you think that stems from for you, Ryan?
Damn, bro, that's a good question. Like, I mean, it stems from a number of issues, I would assume, some that I recognize and some that I don't.
Mm,
Like, obviously, like growing up, I did feel like, based on my race and my ethnicity, that certain people that I like, white girls that I had a crush on, didn't like me because of that, maybe.
mm,
And so I'm scared about the color of my skin. I've always been kind of a big boy, a
mm,
chubby, and so like fear that I won't be accepted for my body type. Um,
mm,
a fear that I'm a very intellectual person and I like to think and I like to wonder and explore. And like, is somebody gonna be down to do that with me? And then like obviously, issues with my parents, issues with abuse in the past. I think there's a lot of factors that contribute to it.
Right.
And on top of just the basic of getting your heart broken before, right? Every time you get your heart broken,
right.
It gets a little,
more guarded.
More tough. Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, I appreciate you sharing that, dude, because it is like delving into that and trying to find out, that fear, sounds like in a way like a fear of rejection, like a fear of, a lot of it is, just attachment, like having that fear of attachment if you've gotten close to somebody before and lost them, or you lost trust with them because, they no longer became a safe person to you. I think a lot of that contributes to, why we guard our heart so much. And, every time something like that happens where we feel in a way betrayed, because they left or they did you wrong, you're going to continue protecting your heart more from being open with others and, not wearing your heart on your sleeve and in a way like making you tough. By being that way, it does in a way limit you from, achieving that full feeling of, commitment and passion with somebody else because of being guarded. We can have trust in others if we allow it, but there always is going to be, some hesitation. Yeah. But it's okay to know that because that hesitation is, in a way protecting you as well.
And then, do you want to get into the next song then?
Yeah. Damn. Kendrick's 2017 masterpiece of an album contains a song called Fear. Mm-hmm. This is one of the songs on the album that earned Kendrick one of the first Pulitzer Prize for music outside of classical and jazz music, and the 2018 Grammy for Best Rap Album, not to mention widespread respect and admiration among those in the music business and beyond. This album is truly one of those that is absolutely life-affirming and emotionally resonant. It really only confirmed my beliefs, and I'll say this here now, that Kendrick Lamar is, in my opinion, the greatest rapper of all time. And I'm sure that we need
the horn sound effect after that. You're putting him at number one then. You're putting Kendrick
my number one. To me, he's the GOAT.
Man.
Kendrick the GOAT, man.
Like I really, he's not my number one. He's not even in my top 5. He is in my top 10. I'm not going to disclose that information at this point. People got to keep listening to find that out. No. But I will say, if anybody wants to put Kendrick at their number one, I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to argue with that. You just can't. It. I respect that for sure. So who produced the track, bro?
Bro, The Alchemist.
I love The Alchemist, man. Always been one of my favorite producers.
Always. He started up with the Hooligans with Scott Caan, the actor the son of actor James Caan.
And then he started working with like Dilated Peoples after that, right?
Dilated Peoples with Evidence. Right now he rolls with Action Bronson. He just produced an amazing album with Freddie Gibbs.
Okay.
That's dope as hell.
Yeah. I've heard some of those tracks off that album. Freddie Gibbs, we're going to have to talk about him at some point. He's also Eminem's road DJ, right? Like Eminem's official tour DJ.
Alchemist the man. He's been doing this for a long time. Very prolific.
Yeah.
So he provides the instrumentation with this up and coming talent named Becken.
Yeah.
And who actually collaborated on most of the album. As I was looking through the production on the Damn album, he had a lot of collaboration on the songs to create that signature sound of Damn, which
and had a lot of jazzy elements, a lot of like time reversal elements. It was a very distinct sound on that album.
I think what's so dope about the Damn album is that he later on released it in a collector's edition that plays it from beginning to end. Like the last song starts first and ends with the first song compared to like the first way it was put out. So you can listen to this album beginning to end like a loop, backwards and forwards, because everything that he talks about, it wraps up accordingly. It's a trip, man. Y'all go back and listen to the Damn album. It's one of the greatest pieces of art ever created. Another thing I want to say too is that Kendrick, in a real in-depth 2017 interview magazine with ID magazine.
Uh huh.
He was asked if he believes he's written the perfect rhyme yet.
Okay.
So they asked Kendrick this, and Kendrick actually pointed toward this song as containing the best verses he's ever written. And he cites it for being completely honest because it describes his fears in 3 decades of his life. When he was 7, 17, and 27. And I believe his fourth verse is, currently at the time, I believe he was 30.
Mm-hmm.
So just a few years after that. And it's really just catching up how he's evolved every 10 years, all in one song. The song begins with a sample from Poverty's Paradise, which is actually used throughout the song by a band called the 24 Karat Black.
Mm-hmm.
And he also uses a voicemail at the beginning and end from his cousin Carl Duckworth, who identifies himself with the Hebrew Israelites and the 12 tribes of Israel, which represent blacks and other minorities as those that are God's chosen people. Let's get into the song. This is Fear by Kendrick Lamar.